The rules of trade are changing. Everyone knows how important trade is to Singapore. And fortunately for us, over the last few decades, countries lowered the tariffs and pursued win-win trade deals. So there was a rise in trade flows globally, and small, open trading economies like Singapore prospered. Now, things are changing. Countries no longer talk about win-win cooperation in trade. Many are thinking, I don't want to become over-reliant on you just in case relations turn sour. Some go even further. They think, I not only want to win, I want you to lose. And the value of our trade is more than 3 times our GDP. We will be hurt if more countries become protectionist and flout trade rules. Second, investment flows are also shifting. Global foreign direct investments, or FDI flows, grew strongly in the past decades as companies established footprints all over the world. They found the best places to do business and linked them up into global supply chains. Singapore has benefited tremendously from this. We built our economy around such global investments. But now this too is changing. Geopolitics is rechanneling FDI flows, and countries talk about nearshoring or friendshoring. And basically it means countries are putting their factories and critical supplies closer to them or in friendly countries they trust. So global FDI flows will slow down and will become more concentrated amongst countries that are geopolitically aligned. Third, the advanced economies are rolling out massive subsidies to build up their own domestic production, especially in strategic industries like semiconductors and clean energy. There is considerable irony in this, because not so long ago, these very same countries were complaining about what they call harmful tax competition, that governments around the world were undercutting one another with more and more generous tax incentives. So they pushed for a global agreement to stop this tax competition. It is called Base Erosion Profit Sharing, or BEPS. Some of you might have heard of this. It includes a global minimum corporate tax of 15% around the world. Everyone sets a minimum corporate tax, 15%. But before this can be implemented, the major economies, US, EU, and China, for example, are already rolling out huge subsidies for key projects and investments. Now, if you think about this, tax incentives and subsidies are all public funds. So it's highly inconsistent to say tax incentives cannot do, but subsidies, yes, let's do more. What's the logic? Unfortunately, we are now in a world where rules are shaped not by logic or principles, but by geopolitics and security imperatives. And Singapore is already feeling the impact. Because when we talk to MNCs here about raising our effective corporate tax rate to 15%, they tell us, yes, we understand, this is happening worldwide. Singapore's incentives used to be best in class. But if your tax rates go up, then Singapore will become less competitive compared to other places. Besides, my home jurisdiction is offering such large subsidies for my next investment. So please tell me what Singapore can offer to persuade my HQ to locate the next investment project here. It's logical for them to say this, right? Because if back home their governments are offering such large subsidies, they will certainly ask us, please match. If not, why should I put my next investment project here? So what this means is that competition will be much tougher. I hope all our union leaders understand this and help to explain this to your members. The major economies are mobilizing very large sums of money to build their own strategic industries. Let me just give you one example. Germany is negotiating with Intel to establish a large semiconductor plant in eastern Germany. The deal involves $10 billion in financing support. $10 billion for just one project. $10 billion is almost double what MTI will spend this year to grow our entire economy. Imagine one project and the subsidy promised is double what MTI spends in a year. Can we afford to outbid the big boys, not just the Germans, but also the Europeans, the Americans, the Chinese, the Japanese? Outbid all of them for the investments we want? Some politicians go around telling Singaporeans, don't worry, raise corporate tax rates to 15%, you will have lots of revenue, and anyway, we also have lots of reserves, so we can merrily spend more. Unfortunately, they don't understand the magnitude of the challenges we face. So let me tell you plainly, we cannot afford to outbid the big boys just to get the MNCs to invest here. We won't have enough money to match the competition. But what we must have enough of are ingenuity and innovation, guts and gumption. And that's the only way we can and will prevail even when the odds are stacked against us.